wanted to say firstly happy Easter to everyone who celebrates Easter today. I really love this time of year. I think it represents new life, hope, renewed hope, new beginnings, and I really feel all those things in the air at this time of year. The second thing I want to say is my necklace is labradorite. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is from a friend of mine, Roxy. She has her own independent business where she sells crystals, crystal jewellery, silver jewellery, crystal statues. I buy so much stuff from her. I think I'm actually going to do a separate video showing you some of the things that I have purchased from her, because it's a really great business, and if you like crystals and witchy things and all things like that, she's definitely worth checking out. The reason why I'm making this video is because I want to talk about my new track called Bluebell Woods, which comes out next week on the 23rd of April. This track, I actually wrote it 3 years ago, and it's a really special track for me, and I wanted to talk to you about the story behind it. So, in 2016, I went through the worst year of my life. I mean, the pandemic wasn't great either, but 2016 really was a bad year for me. Lots of horrible things happened to me, but the worst thing that happened to me was my grandfather died. I was very close with my grandfather. I lived with him for parts of my childhood. I spent a lot of time with him growing up, and even though he was old and you know, it didn't come as a surprise when he died, it was really devastating for me. All my life, my worst fear, even from being a little girl, was what am I going to do when my granddad dies? It really was something that haunted my childhood because I loved my granddad so much, and I was always scared as to how I was going to cope when he died. Anyways, the time came, he passed away, and I was already having a really bad year, but that was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back, and something in me changed. I totally withdrew from the world. I changed everything about my life. I changed my job, my friends, where I lived. I actually moved to the countryside, and what was the worst time of my life actually became the best time of my life. So whilst I was in the early stages of grieving for my granddad, as I said, I was living in the countryside, and being there, being around nature really did heal me. When you live in the countryside, I spent a lot of time when I was a little girl in a different part of the countryside, but when you live there, the world moves differently. Things that are part of your daily life are different in the countryside compared to if you live in a more suburban area. So things like when I would get the train to work, I would see deer in the fields. When I arrived at the train station in the place where I worked, I would see little bunny rabbits hopping over the grass, and being around those things and just being in the stillness of nature really helped me get through this difficult time. And I remember the January following his death. I felt change was on the horizon, and as spring approached that year, I started seeing crocuses, I started seeing daffodils, I started seeing cherry blossom blooming, and I really felt that change in the air like I'm feeling right now, with it being spring, Easter time. And as the seasons changed, I changed, and being in that environment, seeing the rhythm of nature, the cyclical nature of things, you know, seeing animals get on with their lives, not worrying about the human world, that really, really helped me. One of the places that I lived had bluebells growing in the garden next to the house, and whoever had lived in that house previously obviously knew about the bluebells, and they, I'm guessing, meant something to them, because in the porch of this house there was a little piece of stained glass and there was bluebells within the stained glass, and I sort of nicknamed that place Bluebell Woods. And what the track Bluebell Woods is about is, it's about that time in my life having this realization that I always have the power within me to recover, heal, grieve, and move on with my life. Just as the seasons, one follows the other, the seasons continue, nature continues, my life continues, I continue, and I can heal. I realize that if I can heal from my granddad dying, I can heal from anything. Not that I'm saying that I'll ever be fully healed from that, because I believe that grief is an ongoing, lifelong process. But certainly that year I felt something deeply transformative took place in me, and ultimately I became a stronger person. And that time in my life was such a special time in my life. I met so many people because I was living in a different area, working in a different area, working in a totally different industry. I met some incredible people. One of the people who I met in that period of my life is still one of my best friends to date. And the track Bluebell Woods just really depicts this journey of inner transformation, of healing, of bluebells blooming and growing after dark winter months. You know, you have the dark winter months, they can be cold, they can be cruel, they can be frosty, but the bluebells grow through that, and they emerge every spring. So that is what this track is about. It really started as a piano melody, which I then built around. I added some almost elven style vocals, pads. I also added forest type ambience and bird song, but really the core of the track is the piano melody, and that piano melody came from my heart. And in the song, in the track, sorry, there is a change of key, and it really does represent that change of key, represents the change in me that year. And then the track resolves by returning back to the original piano melody. So I really hope you like it. What I'm going to do at the end of this video, I'm going to actually put some photos which were taken at this time in my life. And yeah, I really hope you like Bluebell Woods when it comes out. It comes out on the 23rd of April. I'm releasing it through my ambient project, which is The Story of the Rose. And yeah, it'll be available across all major music platforms. You can buy it, you can download it, you can stream it. So yeah, happy Easter.